Mack from X5 Management. Really excited today to have a meaningful dialogue with one of our long-standing partners. So almost 9 years ago, we became an authorized partner with Wiley. Wiley's great suite of products have been great value to our clients over the many years, including Everything Disc suite of products and the 5 Behaviors program as well. So today we are joined with our special guest, Mark Scullard, who is the Senior Director of Product Innovation with Wiley, live from Minnesota as well. So we set up this call some time ago, and we really wanted to take a deeper dive because Mark has been heavily involved in the program and many of the developments over the years as well. So Mark, maybe we'll open it up and maybe you can share with our guests and our viewers relative to your background and maybe what drew you to the organizational psychology career role and lane, Mark.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's great to be here. Yeah, actually, I started in the kind of two branches of psychology that are really applied. There's the IO branch, and then there's the counseling and clinical branch. And I actually started in that other one. And while I was doing that, you're counseling people, and I'm somewhat introverted, and so spending 50 minutes where you're talking to someone and you're processing not only internally about what's going on with this person and how to take the conversation, but you're also managing the actual interaction, and then you have 10 minutes to do notes and then another person, and it was just exhausting. And so in the meantime of that whole period when I was doing that, I was making money doing statistical analyses, doing some IO work in companies around Minneapolis because they've got a great IO program there. And so I found actually, like I really enjoyed it a lot better. And I mean, frankly, the money wasn't too bad either. So really pivoted, and it was an area where I got to do kind of to actually help people, but at the same time got to use a lot of those conceptual skills and creative skills, analytical skills. And so IO is really a great mix of those for me.
Love it. Appreciate it. Well, as I mentioned to you before our call this morning as well, I've had the privilege of meeting you a few times as well. So while I've always said I think you're an incredibly smart individual and great value to Wiley, but I really enjoyed connecting with you as well. I would never tell of that introverted tendencies because you were pretty open to the dialogue, and that helped.
I'm pumping it up. I'm shifting. I'm practicing the DISC model.
Well, the magic of Everything DISC is our adaptability and flexibility over time as well. So you're doing well on that as well. One of the questions that we've been thinking a lot about, and I think you're the perfect person to answer that question today. But in your role as Senior Director of Product Innovation, what trends are you seeing in learning and development? And do you think what will most impact tools like Everything DISC that may be used, say, over the next 5 years and beyond?
Yeah, there's a lot of places my head goes with that question, but let me just choose one because I think we'll touch on some of the other ones as we talk. And one of the things that's really top of mind for me right now is this pendulum that shifts back and forth in the labor market between who really, in terms of power dynamics between the organization and the employee. And so, for instance, 2-3 years ago with the Great Resignation and all, the employees had the power. Organizations were struggling to keep people. They wanted to keep them satisfied. And of course, at least here in America, and I suspect it's probably not too different in Canada, the pendulum has really swung back quite quickly, where leadership has the power oftentimes, and I think you see this come out in a lot of different news stories and a lot of different developments in organizations where in the past you've seen organizations talk about their people as their greatest resources, and now you see a layoff and the stock shoots up, right? They're often discussed as a liability. And with AI, one of the things that I'm really curious about and concerned about, and as with a lot of people, is what is going to do that to dynamic? Is it actually going to shift back, or is AI going to be such a powerful force in our labor market that it keeps that power over in that management? And so I think in both cases, there's neither one which is good. I think you need both in a dynamic economy. But what happens when it's on the less on the labor side and more on the organization side is that the training becomes about results and what immediate results can this deliver for me? How is this going to improve? And as opposed to providing training, whereas in part of it is to help with the career development of the employees you have, keep them satisfied and keep them engaged and enrich their jobs. And I think if for too long we end up in a situation where it really is about getting that stock price up as much as possible, we can kind of find ourselves in a situation where any training that's going on, the very first question that's going to be asked is, what kind of measurable results are you going to deliver, and how this is going to impact my outcomes?
Indeed. Yeah, appreciate that. I would say there's many parallels from a Canadian and US market. It's interesting in these current times as well. Fortunately, many of our clients, they truly value their workforce and their teams and invest in great programs that we're able to support through products like Everything Disc and programs like that as well. One of the lines that we reference within our company at X5 Management, turning soft skills into hard assets.